Welcome to the Feeling Alive podcast on youth, mental health and well-being. Today we're going to talk about where we go to ask for help. My name is Josie, I'm going to be today's host. And in this episode we talk about reaching out when we need support and how to find resources and spaces for support that can help us in our process of identifying our needs and inner resources. We also discuss different resources that are available to young people to support their mental health and focus on those resources that are accessible. Today's guest is Sofie, and would you like to introduce yourself?
Yes, thanks. Hello, I have read education that called pedagogy, where the focus was in children. And I've also read education that called design culture and calling. And I want to work with people and some creative things. So I think it's very exciting, a combination of this. And the topic today we want to talk about, I think it's very important to in the future and also just now in our society and in the world in general.
So, being based here in Aarhus, what kind of mental health and well-being resources are you familiar with?
I have used a lot of time in a place that called Hjerterum in Mejlgade in Aarhus here. And a meditation center that called Prema, where they offered some meditation, I think it was 4 times per week.
And how do you find these kind of resources?
I think I found Hjerterum in Instagram or saw some different posters, different places. And it's very two different things because Hjerterum, you have many people that you can mirror and you can be mirror of them. And you can create very good and deep connection there, which I think that people need in their inner process.
Sounds like these kind of spaces where you find your resources, and they can be spaces where you, as you said, mirror other people and people who are maybe in the same process, maybe like-minded people, but also these places for just being you.
Yeah, exactly. I think that it's very important to find people that you can share the same things with, and maybe the same struggles and the same wins in life, if you can call that. But yeah, also that you say that you just can be me in a warm and lovely way, which maybe you don't can in other places in your life. It's necessary that every people have other community that they can be mean so open.
Yes, and in your experience, why is that important?
I think that it's necessary for every human when they want to develop themselves, both inner and outer, that they have some good relationships in their life and that they been meet where they are in life and can share what happens inside and outside in life.
Yes. So this is about the outer resources that we have that we can use to access the well-being, like the social well-being of feeling part of a community or feeling part of or having connections that feel make you feel safe and make you feel seen.
Yeah, exactly, and meaningful, of course.
Meaningful, yes. You also mentioned this thing about being able to mirror others' experiences. Is that something you have your own experiences either feeling seen by others or having your own experience mirrored in someone else.
Yes, example, if you struggle in some area of your life, you could talk with other people and you can see that it's not only yourself that have the same problems, and suddenly some problems that was big in your head can be small when you speak about it. And I hope that other people can relate it to that. Because I think that many people go with so many things inside, and it can be very scary to reach out if they really need it. Because also related to the many expectations that are in society or from parents or friends or maybe also from themselves. But I think it's very important we can do a lot to inform other people. There's spaces where you always can be yourself and not always have to perform, which that we often can be learned that we have to do. Yeah. Also related to social media example.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, you said that sometimes it takes a lot, that you actually have to be brave enough to go into also the inner processes.
Yeah, you mean the courage?
Yeah, you have to have the courage.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you need some courage to meet yourself, because maybe it's not only every people that have they don't think they have time or the courage to go deep with themselves.
Yeah, and also your point that sometimes it takes this mirroring or have the opportunity to see your own experiences in others. So maybe having a listening ear or some kind of just social support system. Do you have any other experiences of this, being in your own, like this inner process that we talked about, and feeling a little, so sometimes it can be difficult to be in that inner process with all the outer expectations, but it's not only seeking this support from outside. Sometimes it's also maybe to disconnect from these outer expectations, and that also takes some courage. Are there any spaces you feel that can accommodate that it makes it easier to disconnect from all of these? We talked about the pressure of social media, or it could be school and the workplace.
Yeah, as a concrete example, I think that it's very important to find what you like and maybe your passion, or you like to dance, or you like yoga, and find some hobbies or interest where you just feel that you are in the now. So you don't think of the past or the future, but that you just really enjoy what you do. Also, example, painting. It has helped me a lot. And dance and yoga is because you use your body a lot. So it's very useful and something that I really can recommend.
It sounds like you have also some resources or tools that helps you connect more to this. We talked about the inner process or the inner resources. What is it that it give you, the being creative or being active?
Yeah, I think it's that it helped me to be in the now and maybe create a little bit distance to the things that can be problematic in our daily life. And it gives some energy to go back to how I can solve it in a good and constructive way.
And do you find it easier to also ask for to reach out to these outer resources when you have a better feeling of the inner resources?
Yeah, because I think that when you do what you like to do and you create some time and healthy connection, I think that you get a lot of energy back. So maybe you have more clarity how you want to use it in a good way, where you also can be an inspiration for other people.
Do you have any examples of being courageous and being an inspiration for others?
Yeah, I like painting, and now I help other artists with create some spaces where they can show and tell about their process, about their art.
Talking about where you might go to find these outer resources and spaces to explore and express yourself, and maybe someone who can support you in your mental health well-being. And then we came back to finding the inner resources. And you mentioned art and more this being creative expression, and how you can also use that to inspire and influence others. Do you find spaces in Aarhus where you can go and feel like empowered or inspired to use your art and your drawing and your resources to support others?
Yes, as I earlier said, there's a hjerterum where you can experience a lot of different things. Example, yoga and music, concert and art event, and every month there's one times where there's common eating, and it's also very cozy because you can just come and be who you are and bring something to eating and create new relationship.
So connecting through art and food, it's always very helpful.
Yes.
You also mentioned earlier about volunteering.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's a very good way to connect in maybe in a real and deep way, where both are interested in same things, to make a difference to other people. And from there, you also have this. First of all, I think it's very important that you have the courage to reach out and have a wish for yourself to create something better in your life.
And what is it that makes this like meaningful, a nice thing to have and to kind of find your own path?
I think that when you have go through some inner process, that you come from another place in yourself, and hopefully that you stand stronger in yourself, and maybe that you know yourself better and know how you can make an impact from other people, and maybe from a place where it's more authentic. And it is exactly this that I think and I have experience about, that many people struggle about, because I think that everyone wants to do a different for other people in the society and the bigger picture. But I also think that it's very hard to find a way that is alignment with who you are.
Mm-hmm. So you say that there needs to be this kind of balance, like we talked about in the beginning, that you have access to resources and spaces, and also in terms of being part of providing resources or support for others. But there needs to be a balance in a way, in that you also need to bring your inner resources. That's what I hear you say. Is that correct?
Yes, exactly. And I think sometimes we can help ourselves and each other to take the expectations away from our shoulders that many people carry. But it's not necessary because it can make more struggle than it's good for ourselves. And maybe it can block for the good and creative idea that we have inside. But yeah, it's just important to find some places where the idea can be mirrored in a positive and constructive way and where it can bloom.
Yeah, so if we are lucky enough to find like-minded people and community and a space where we can actually nurture these inner resources, we can be a help and a support for others.
Yes, exactly. And the courage to use our voice, because I really think that we can turn the society in a more healthy way if we open our heart and share our personally struggles with each other. Because it can be easy to just hidden ourselves and think that we are the only one that have this struggles inside. But I hope that many other people can relate to what I speak about, and that it's totally normal and we're just human. But sometimes we have created a society that didn't adapt to every people. But the more that we come out with our idea and who we are and find each other, we can create some new constructive idea and activities for each other that can make a difference from our well-being.
Do you think society is also playing a part in, with all of these accessible resources and opportunities, that it is a bit of overload, or it is creating, or maybe some people can feel a bit lost in all of that?
Both yes and no, because yes, of course, there's many choices to make every day, and big choices and small choices about marriage, kids, and education, and so. But I also think that it's very important that we have to take our power home and start from there, so we don't take the responsibility out to the society. But I think there's many different factors that have a big impact. But if we start in the small, we can make an impact in the bigger picture.
So finding your own resources and finding the space and the opportunities to also use it like in a meaningful way. You also mentioned in the beginning that also helps us kind of mirror society and mirror other people and make us even stronger in what it is we actually want to do. Yes, so more physical spaces for young people also to come and to do something, to be active, to be creative. Is there anything else when we talk about supporting young people in their mental health and well-being? Do you think it's easy for a young person to be courageous, to be brave and go and not only seek out outer resources and support, but also starting or being in this process of finding their inner resources?
No, I think it's not easy for them because it's not what they learn in the school. But I think absolutely they have to make space for that with creativity in workshops or something, so they can see themselves and learn about themselves and each other in another perspective.
Yeah. Yes, that's a good point.
Yeah, creativity should be more on the schedule in the school.
Yes. So something you learn, like you are taught math and history. Maybe there could be more space for creativity and maybe also talking about mental health resources and well-being, this kind of support.
Yeah, exactly. Because the earlier they learn it, the better. Because they come out to a world where they need to take care of themselves inside and out.
Yeah. Beautiful. Okay, so we're going to wrap up with the final question, which is, do you have any suggestions for these local mental health or well-being community initiatives?
Example, it could be a meditation course.
Mm?
I've been in a 10 days meditation course in Sweden, where we didn't speak in 10 days, but only meditate. But of course, it's also, you also have to come to a point where you have evolved a lot before you take to this, I guess. But the point from this course is that you take some time to yourself and be alone with yourself and maybe go a little bit away from the distractions from the society and the people around you, and the important to feel yourself.
Yeah, so the whole idea is taking care of yourself, and this inner process, it would allow you to be more supportive and have more resources to share with others.
Yeah, and aware about yourself.
Yeah.
So you also can know how you can make an impact in your daily life with others. But of course, we don't have necessary to take to Sweden to connect to connect with ourselves. We also have to make some spaces in our daily life and in society. So it's more long term and in daily basis that we can have some time for ourselves or for our inner process.
Yes, exactly. So it has to translate into everyday life and finding even more local resources.
Yeah, so it's easy to have access to it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much, Sofie.
You're welcome. I hope that they will inspire.